being talked about here?
Breakaway Bicycle Company.
Breakaway Bicycle Company. All right. What is the company? Is it a manufacturer? Is it a company that is into some other business? What kind of a business is the company doing?
Manufacturer of high-end
Ma'am, it manufactures bicycle frames.
Okay, it manufactures bicycles. Now, what is the task that the company is up to? What do they want to do? What opportunity have they got?
They want to add additional workstations and designers because they want to increase their capacity for the frames they make.
Awesome, that they want to increase the capacity. When we are talking about the increase in capacity, what is it that they're looking for? Are they wanting to expand the business line? They want to spread into something else, or they're wanting to expand the same business due to something that they saw in the market?
The increase in the competitive aspect of bicycle racing and the professional bicycle races.
Okay, so what does it actually tell you here? What are they talking about?
That there is an availability in the market and there is a growing need in the market, which they
how do they evaluate that growing need? How do they foresee that it's going to be in the future? It's not happening right away. What about the Olympics? How do they correlate the market to the Olympic Games?
Ma'am, it provided an opportunity to expand the business.
Okay, it provided them with an opportunity to expand the business, but then how?
The requirements of the products, because in Olympics you need high-end products.
Okay, that brings you to the very first pointer that your investor is going to ask you a basic question on. Number one, they are talking about how do you evaluate the market? Scenario one, you check what your competitors are doing. Scenario two, you check what your audience or your buyers or your consumers want from you. Number three, check the general surroundings. Anybody has any idea of the Commonwealth Games that were held in Delhi a few years back? 7, 8 probably years back. Not 8, in fact 10 years back. 2011, 2010 was the year for the Commonwealth Games. The government then decided to exactly revamp the entire scenery. New hotels, new stays, new roads, traffic management. There was an entire lane that was created for the Olympics so that people, while commuting, they don't face any troubles there. No traffic for them. Whereas, how do we evaluate such kind of a market? The product that you're going to launch, think from that perspective now. Think 5 years, 10 years ahead now. How are you going to evaluate the market for your product? How are you going to look out for availability? How are you going to look out for the pricing? How are you going to look out for the designing? How are you going to look out for the emerging markets expansion, new projects coming up? What are the factors that you'd be taking into consideration? Any idea? Take 2 minutes, think about it, think about all the aspects, growing in terms of 5 years, 10 years, looking at the market in terms of expansion, looking at the market in terms of competition, looking in the terms of designing, looking in terms of existing market. How do you think you'd be able to move ahead 5 years, 10 years from now?
Ma'am, we could do by catching up to the trends of the market. Always being updated about what exactly is the common people or the common consumers, the requirement and what they like.
Yes. And how do we catch up with the trends? How do we get to know about a trend? Someone who had come up with the idea for Loop Fashions, LOOP.
Yes, Akshita.
Okay. Akshita, how do you get to know about a new fashion trend? Only once you see it on Instagram or see your favorite actor wearing it over television?
Or fashion brands mostly create new trends. And I would also say that we can find a similarity in the pattern of changing fashion trends, and we can predict upcoming trends according to that pattern.
That is one point wherein the internet also helps us.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. 1 second. I'm first sharing the link in the chat box. Heard about this website that I've just shared, Google Trends?
It shows how many people have searched for something.
Yes. So those are my keywords. That is where my content comes into picture. That is where I get to know about what's trending, how it's trending, how to move about it. Supposingly, I am talking about fashion clothes. That's the term that I'm looking for. Let's see how and where do people fall in the category. Now, first, there's going to be a graph. The page is still loading. So you see the graph here. It shows me the interest of people over that subject during this time. The time begins from May 31, 2020 last year and moves up to 2nd of May. So do you see the trend going down? Look at the entire trend. Look at how the trending line is moving. You see spikes at places, then you see a downfall, and this kind of graph always predicts, or always shows a few things. It shows me a prediction. Now, if you catch up here, it's all in the growing stage where my cursor is right now. When it came to a downfall, somewhere around, this is 25%, that is where it again started rising. So every time you see somewhere where it starts touching the 25% line, it shows a huge spike there. Looking at the current trend here, we can project that this might again show a rising trend in the near future. This is what is for the past 1 year, and this is what is happening in India. This is a drop down list. I can select from any country that is available here. I can look out for it worldwide. Once I check it for worldwide, my graph would change. Now see, the worldwide trends from May 31, 2020, and the dip never reaches the 25%. I can look out for any specific country also if I want. Now I was looking out for India, I'm going back to India. I'm looking out for all categories right now. Now, let's see which one does it actually fall into. I've been more specific here, my graph would again change. But the trend would be alike. If you see, the trend there also was reaching somewhere around 25%. Here too, it's reaching somewhere around 25%, right? The spikes you see are very much similar to the previous one as well. This is a result that I come to know only through the web searches right now. People who are searching over the internet. Let's say Google Shopping. You see a flat curve here? Flat curve is the deadliest. Why was the curve flat during the month of May and almost till June, July? Any idea? Last year?
The lockdown.
Absolutely. And immediately you see when the lockdown opened, somewhere around July 19, you see that spike here. Similarly, here, somewhere around March again this year, the lockdown, the states started going for lockdowns. That's the reason you see this downfall here. Now, as soon as we are expecting, obviously, the northern region, that we're expecting that from the 1st of the month, we are expecting an opening. Again, it's going to show us a huge spike here. Let's see the regions first. So online shopping, and especially Google shopping, is very much prominent in Bihar. 100, almost 100 means the maximum population, 100%. 57% Maharashtra, 32 West Bengal, 30 Uttar Pradesh, 25 Telangana, and so on and so forth. You'd be able to identify these states here on the map given here. Talking about related topics, okay, it doesn't show related topics here. Let me get back to web search. You see, as soon as I change my search options from the list, my list also changes. I had Bihar topping. Now when I come to web search, that means searching not just over the Google browser, but any kind of browser here. Telangana is the state with maximum number of people shopping, followed by Chhattisgarh, followed by Uttarakhand, followed by Gujarat, followed by Delhi. Now comes my related topics. That means when people are looking out for shopping, these are the things that they look out for. Costume, jewelry, casual wear, business, Nykaa e-commerce company, then they're looking for fashion, hairstyle, etc. how do I make this particular information that I've received relevant for my business type? When I'm talking about Loop Fashions, Loop Fashion has seen the trend for fashion clothing over the internet and the interest of people over the internet for quite some time. This exact graph can be used as it is in my slides to show to the customer, to show to the investor, this is how my planning goes. Due to the lockdown here, we saw a decline. As soon as the COVID cases declined, we saw a spike in the shopping again. Again, there's a downfall when the COVID cases were at an all-time high, somewhere around January onwards. Again, it was a high low as there were restrictions being put up by specific governments, so on and so forth. You can talk about the ranges also. Which product ranging from which particular community? We were talking about fashion clothing right now. Let's explore something new now. Let's explore about shoes. There was someone talking about shoes also, trying to open something related to shoes in Telangana. The person is here. Akshat? Not here? Akshat is not here? I would want everybody to be searching for their trends in their business over here and ask in case you have any doubts. Browse for it, let me know. Done, seen. So do you see an upward trend or you see a downward trend for your particular business?
Mom,
Ma'am, it says incomplete data for mine.
Okay, please share. What were you doing? Please share your screen. Let me see what you're doing.
Ma'am, it says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Sorry, give me a minute. Now check.
Ma'am, can you see my screen?
I can see.
Ma'am, can you see this?
Okay, so you're talking about a home's in. So again, it's on a
Yes.
decline.
It says incomplete data here.
Incomplete data here. It's still predicting. The dotted line says that it's predicting that there's going to be a downfall. That's the prediction that it's, and you want to see it over a specific. Scroll down and see which states are there where it's maximum run. Punjab, J&K, Delhi, Himachal, Chandigarh. Any of these states or any of these places, cities where you think you reside and you are planning to open it?
I'm planning to start from Tamil Nadu, which is where I'm from.
Okay. So Tamil Nadu stands at number 53.
53.
No, not number 53, 53% people there would want a home gym. Scroll down further, it will give you also specifics wherein it says that which one to be chosen from. Pull up bar, tables, weight sets, sport equipment, weights, dumbbells.
Yes, ma'am.
Seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else who's facing any troubles here?
No, ma'am.
Let's move on to the second one. Just give me a.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Coming and talking about BDC. Now we know how trends are checked in the market. Let's see how evaluation of market happens next. Now you've checked the trend for the product or for the service that you're looking forward to. Let's see now what's the next step. Looking at the trend, you see that it's rising trend or it's falling trend. How do you decide to move ahead now? If it's a falling trend, do you think it's the right time to invest in the business? Yes, no, maybe.
no,
No.
ma'am. Few times it
No,
also
ma'am.
depends on the reason. That's
Sorry?
what, like few times I think it also depends on the reason why there is a decline.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do we get to know about the reason?
Like, mom, when you showed us the shopping trends, for instance, there was a down in the graph because of the lockdown.
Right?
There won't be a lockdown forever. One day the lockdown's going to end and the graph's going to go up again, right?
All
So,
right. Then what about the businesses that opened during this time?
mom, I think then that's not a good idea. They have to wait for the right time to start their business.
That's the question. What do you mean by the right time and when does this right time come?
When there is a rise in the graph.
When there's a rise in the graph. But then do I have to keep checking it on daily basis?
No, but like the predicted few times tell us. And
Their, their predictions do tell us about it, but they don't always predict it.
yeah,
Now, when we are talking about, you remember this time phase again from the month of June, July, when the lockdown, they started lifting the lockdown, till the month of almost October, November, when the cases were at an all-time low, right? During this phase, during this time, people had opened up businesses thinking, Corona gone. What happened to those businesses? They're all into losses today. They're not even able to pay their employee salaries. Then, how do we need to move ahead? How do we plan for the same? There is a planning protocol that one has to follow. How to work upon that planning protocol, what that planning protocol is all about, is what is our next topic. This is a small model, a business model canvas. When I'm talking about a canvas, we have to talk about the key partners associated with us. If I talk about a clothing brand today, who do you think are going to be my key partners? Key partners are those people who are closely associated with my organization, like the people who supply raw material to me. We saw during this pandemic, only essential services were open. That's the reason Amazon, eBay, Flipkart, Myntra, they suffered huge losses. And during this second lockdown 2.0, they did not incur that amount of profit, that amount of losses. Why? Because they were considered to be delivering essentials also. If you open Flipkart, it started with the new venture called 90 minutes delivery or super fast delivery. What do you mean by it? When I'm talking about super fast delivery, when I'm talking about delivery within 90 minutes, they are delivering essentials like fruits, vegetables, dairy products, packed food, and other stuff. Here, you have to keep in mind that why did a company like Flipkart earning in millions, trillions, why did they come up with this new model? Looking at the market conditions. What had happened to the market? Why did they venture out into this? Simple. Because they understood that if they were delivering essentials only, then the government would be allowing them to work in the market. Second, key activities. Key activities actually refers to the basic activities which I, as a business, would be doing. These would be my primary responsibilities. If I'm talking about a shoemaking business, my the people who would be providing me with the raw material, people who would be providing me the soles, people who would be providing me the raw material in terms of the sticking glue, etc., would be my key partners. My accountant would be my key partner. He's not going to be a part of my business on daily basis. He's going to come only when I'm talking about taxes. Only when taxes, GST come into consideration. When we move on to the finance sector, I'll talk about it. Key activity. Shoemaking is my key activity. That is manufacturing. Selling is not my key activity. There's a difference that arises here. Third thing, my key resources. Now, resources both in terms of human resource plus the non-living raw material that I'd be needing. Fourth, value proposition. What kind of value do you think I'm providing to my customers? Value in the sense, when I am providing my customer with a pair of shoes, I'm providing them with the value of comfortability, leisure, etc. When I'm providing them with something that relates to mental health, I am talking about the value of mental peace, sustainable growth, positivity. These are like my values which will come up. Next comes my customer relationships. How is it that I'm going to maintain a one-on-one basis customer relationship? If you know, or if you people have seen this trend, you are sent a feedback form after every class, right? When you fill that feedback form, There is a relationship executive who calls you in case the rating is really low. What had happened? Why do you think, or why did you give such a low rating? Like, it's not a question, but then it's a concern call which is made. Now, how are you going to get connected to each and every individual customer of yours? One is a verbal feedback. You prepare a dress for me, I wear it, and I tell you, oh wow, that was so brilliant, that was beautiful. You customize it for me. But it's not always possible to be getting in touch with every customer as your business grows. So, what channels would you be using to get in touch with your customers? Something like feedback forms, something like random calling, something like review calling, something like feedback calling. So, you're going to mention them step by step here. Next thing comes up, my channels of distribution. How am I distributing my product to the customer? Someone who had come up with an idea very much similar to Swiggy, wherein you're talking about customization or preparation of your food before the customer reaches onto the table. So it's like a pre-order, and then you come and you're served with the same. What channels are you offering in case you're offering this as, the same procedure for home delivery as well? Is it going to be Swiggy riders, bike riders? Is it going to be car riders? Is it going to be through truck? Like, if I talk about delivery in specific in India, the manufacturers usually transport goods through major means of transportations. Next comes my customer segmentation. By customer segmentation, I mean, how do I divide my customers on the basis of demographics? What age group am I targeting here? Who would be my customers, in what age group they'd fall, what is going to be the majority, whether they're going to be females entirely, whether they're going to be males, or am I going to keep the stuff unisex, whether males, whether females, doesn't matter. Now, this segmentation also happens on the basis of the income group, middle level income group, or I'm talking about the high end luxury, or I'm talking about below average income group. Next comes my cost structure. My cost structure is going to talk about everything, the entire cost ranging from raw material till the final product. Delivery of the raw material to your warehouse, to your production house, is also a cost for you. Asking the customer to be filling a feedback form, or the customer calling up the customer for a review, is also a cost for you. All these are your cost structures. You're going to talk about cost structure on the basis of raw material. Total raw material use is equals to X amount. Total semi-finished product used is equal to Y amount. Output, which is your final product, Z amount. Next comes my revenue streams. Revenue streams refers to those channels through which I'd be receiving my profit or my revenue, the money that I'd be earning. Now, this can be a direct selling. Direct selling refers to I selling it directly from my place where it's been manufactured. Something like what boutiques do. They're manufacturing there, they're selling there. It's a direct selling happening. Second is an indirect selling. Indirect selling is I am selling, I am producing it as a manufacturer. I'm further giving it forward to a seller who is selling it off, or a wholesaler. Then the wholesaler forwards it to a retailer and the retailer sells it off. So that's like a channel or a stream that I'm following. Now, I also have to talk about the channels from where this revenue is coming, whether that be Facebook, whether that be YouTube, whether that be online portals like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, etc. Have a look at the entire canvas together. Ask in case you've not understood any one particular segment, or you want me to repeat the entire thing.
Ma'am, in the cost structure, we don't have to write the startup expenses, but we have to write that for producing 1 unit, what will be the services and their costs included.
Everything has to be included here. The cost structure includes everything from your lights, fitting, to your land, to your labor, everything.
Okay, ma'am.
Done? Seen the graph? Any doubt? Shall I move on to the next one? And we should move into the practical aspect of solving this.
Yes, ma'am.
These steps are the same that I've explained it to you. So I'm skipping the slide. I am giving you now the link where this can be done. Okay, Akshay, you want me to explain everything briefly once again?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When we are talking about the elements are broadly key partners. Key partners are everybody in the business whom you think plays a key role when it comes to the business. My accountant, my workers, my laborers, my people